Think modern hi-fi has made vintage amplifiers obsolete? Think again. Some classic amplifiers from the golden age of stereo still deliver incredible sound, build quality, and musical character even today. In this video, we're counting down 5 vintage amplifiers that still compete with modern hi-fi. Let's see which legendary amplifier takes the #1 spot. Number 5, N80-3020. The N80-3020 is one of the most important budget amplifiers in hi-fi history, and its reputation comes from much more than nostalgia. Originally released in 1978, the classic 3020 was rated at only 20 watts per channel into 8 ohms, but N80 designed it with unusually strong dynamic capability, allowing considerably higher short-term output than that headline number suggests. Its sound is full-bodied, smooth, lively, and surprisingly authoritative, with a particularly engaging mid-range that works beautifully with vocals, guitars, jazz, and acoustic recordings. The built-in phono stage was another major strength, giving vinyl playback a musical and satisfying character. It isn't the last word in modern resolution or transparency, but that's not really the point of the 3020. Its magic is the way it makes music feel cohesive, substantial, and effortless rather than simply throwing specifications at the listener. The compact chassis and relatively modest power also make it a fascinating contrast to today's powerful Class D amplifiers. For a vintage setup using efficient bookshelf speakers, the 3020 can still deliver an incredibly enjoyable listening experience. That's why this little amplifier became such a legendary product and helped establish N80 as a serious name in affordable audiophile equipment. Number 4, Marantz 1060. The Marantz 1060 is a beautiful example of the classic 1970s approach to integrated amplifier design. Introduced in 1971, it delivers 30 watts per channel into 8 ohms and includes 3-line inputs, a dedicated phono input, tape connectivity, and switchable speaker outputs. But the reason enthusiasts continue to appreciate the 1060 is its musical character. Rather than sounding clinical or overly analytical, it has the smooth, rich presentation that many listeners associate with classic Marantz equipment. Vocals can sound wonderfully natural, while guitars, piano, and strings have a pleasing warmth and body. The 30-watt rating may seem small compared with modern amplifiers, but paired with efficient speakers, it can create a surprisingly engaging stereo system. Its straightforward analog architecture also makes it an excellent centerpiece for a vintage vinyl setup. The 1060 is especially appealing to listeners who value musical enjoyment over chasing the latest specifications. Its classic front panel and physical controls add to the experience, making it feel like a genuine piece of audio history rather than just an old electronic component. Of course, because these amplifiers are now decades old, condition is critical. A professionally serviced example is much more desirable than one that has simply been sitting untouched for years. Number 3, Pioneer SA-9800. The Pioneer SA-9800 takes this list into much more serious high-power territory. Produced during the golden age of Japanese hi-fi, it is rated at 100 watts per channel into 8 ohms, with an exceptionally wide 5 Hz, 100 kHz frequency response, and a very low published THD figure of 0.005%. Pioneer equipped the SA-9800 with its non-switching amplifier design, intended to combine the efficiency advantages of a Class B-style amplifier with reduced switching-related distortion. In practical listening, this gives the amplifier plenty of authority for larger speakers, with powerful bass, a clean mid-range, and crisp, high-frequency reproduction. It also has the kind of substantial construction that immediately communicates that this was designed as a serious component. The large chassis, extensive controls, substantial internal components, and impressive power capability make it an excellent choice for someone who wants a vintage amplifier that can actually drive a demanding stereo system. Unlike the smaller N80-3020 or Marantz 1060, the SA-9800 doesn't rely primarily on charm or low-power efficiency. It has genuine muscle behind it. For listeners who enjoy rock, orchestral music, electronic recordings, or large-scale recordings, that extra headroom can be particularly appealing. A properly maintained SA-9800 can still be an impressive centerpiece for a vintage audiophile system. Number 2, Yamaha CA-1000. The Yamaha CA-1000 is one of the most interesting amplifiers on this list because it combines classic Yamaha engineering with selectable Class A and Class B operation. The original CA-1000 is rated at 70 watts per channel into 8 ohms, with a published frequency response extending from 10 Hz to 50 kHz and very low distortion specifications for its era. That operating mode flexibility gives the amplifier a unique place in vintage hi-fi history. Its Class A mode is particularly interesting for listeners who want a smooth and refined presentation at moderate listening levels, while Class B provides greater efficiency and power capability. The amplifier is also built like a serious piece of equipment, weighing around 15.5 kilograms, with a substantial chassis and extensive circuitry. Sonically, the CA-1000 has the clean, controlled character you'd expect from Yamaha, with strong imaging, detailed mids, controlled bass, and a refined treble response. It doesn't have to rely on exaggerated coloration to sound impressive. Instead, its appeal comes from its engineering, flexibility, and ability to present music with authority while retaining a classic analog character. For someone building a vintage system around a good pair of speakers, the CA-1000 can be one of the most rewarding amplifiers on this list. Number 1. Sansui AU-717. The Sansui AU-717 earns the number 1 position because it represents almost everything enthusiasts love about classic Japanese integrated amplifiers: serious engineering, substantial construction, strong power delivery, and a highly engaging presentation. Introduced in 1977-79, the AU-717 is rated at 85 watts per channel into 8 ohms, with 0.025% THD and a damping factor of 60. Sansui's design uses a differential push-pull amplifier stage and a 3-stage Darlington connected driver section, while the company specifically focused on reducing transient intermodulation distortion and DC drift. In listening, the AU-717 is known for a powerful and controlled presentation, with deep bass, clean vocals, excellent dynamics, and a convincing stereo image. It has enough power to work with a wide variety of serious speakers, while its substantial power supply and heavy chassis give it the sense of authority that makes vintage Sansui equipment so desirable. The amplifier also includes both phono and line-level inputs, making it a natural centerpiece for a traditional vinyl-based system. Its combination of power, refinement, build quality, and classic styling makes it particularly compelling for collectors and serious listeners. But there's an important caveat. A vintage AU-717 should ideally be professionally inspected and serviced before serious use, because age-related component deterioration can affect both performance and reliability. A properly restored AU-717, however, can still provide a remarkably satisfying high-end vintage listening experience. And that wraps up our list of 5 vintage amplifiers that still compete with modern hi-fi. These classics prove that great engineering never really goes out of style. Which one would you choose for your own system? Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more hi-fi reviews and audiophile content.